everybody. In about 24 hours, one of the biggest events of the year will be going down. But before we get into that, I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome one and all to the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. So what is that major event? Well, Forbidden Door went down this past Sunday, but this Saturday, tomorrow, we've got Money in the Bank, the annual event that changes careers, is going down. We're going to preview the show, who I think will be the inevitable winners of the respective briefcases. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right, so before we get into Money in the Bank 2024, you know we've got to look at 2023. We got to see the matches, preview that, not preview that show, but just go over the results real quick. So we had 7 matches on the card, which is really good. It's different from what the WWE has been doing recently, but we opened up with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which was won by Damien and Preist. That match also included Butch, LA Knight, Logan Paul, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And outside of Butch, Ricochet, and Santos Escobar, I thought Priest, Logan Paul, and Shinsuke and LA Knight had the biggest shots at winning the briefcase. This match had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in it, whereas this year's has, I think, 6. But Damien Priest won that briefcase and cashed in at WrestleMania this year, and he's the current World Heavyweight Champion. Then we had a tag team match with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defeating the team of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Now, Ronda and Shayna did their turn around at that point, but we know what went down at SummerSlam. The third match on the card was Gunther defeating Matt Riddle, retaining the Intercontinental Championship, and Gunther was just on a roll at this point, and people forget now that he's out of the limelight how over Matt Riddle was. Our fourth match on the card was Cody Rhodes defeating Dominic Mysterio. This was just a one-off feud, a one-off match to hold Cody over until he fought at SummerSlam. And I want to say he fought Brock at SummerSlam. Yeah, he fought Brock at SummerSlam in that really random feud. We still don't know why Brock attacked Cody, but yeah, Cody beats Dominic Mysterio. After that, we had Io Sky winning the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. She went on to cash in the championship, I believe, at SummerSlam, taking the championship from Io Sky. But also in this ladder match was Bayley, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Zelina Vega, and Zoey Stark. It was a really good match. I probably like the women's match better than the men's match. Then we had Seth Rollins defeating Finn Balor, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. And in the main event, we were in the thick of the Bloodline. The Usos defeated Roman and Solo in the Bloodline Civil War in a fantastic tag team match. But let's dive into this year's card. We have 5 matches on the card because this is what Triple H likes to does now. I don't know how you all are letting him get away with this. This 5-match card is honestly, it's a joke. Like, last year's had 7 and you're only doing 5. So unless something gets added from SmackDown tonight, this is what we're rolling with. So without further ado, we start off with the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn defending against Bron Breakker, and this stems from Bron just murdering everybody and feeling disrespected because he wasn't in the King of the Ring tournament. So he has been absolutely brutalizing people, and Sami had a successful defense of the title at Clash of the Castle. So there's that, right? So he's on a roll after beating Gunther at WrestleMania, and he was eventually interrupted by Bron Breakker, who said he wanted Zayn's championship. Zayn confronted Bron backstage outside of Adam Pearce's office and agreed to defend the championship, and that's what we have now, because the Money in the Bank is taking place in Canada, in Toronto. So Zayn versus Bron, and this is going to be a very good match. And here's the thing, Bron Breakker is on an absolute tear right now. He's killing it. He is losing his mind. But is he going to win this championship? I wasn't expecting Zayn to have a long championship reign, but he has been defending the title. He has been putting in some good work. But inevitably, right, Bron has to win this belt. He can't just be on a roll and not win something, because I think inevitably he's going to end up feuding with Sheamus at some point. So what happens with Sami? In the end, I think Bron's going to throw everything at Sami, but Sami does what Sami does, and that's overcome the bigger opponents. That's kind of his specialty. So I like Sami Zayn to win here, and maybe this feud continues and Sami gets goaded into another match, but take Sami Zayn to win here. Next up, we have Damien Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins, and this just stems from Seth goading Priest into a match. Seth was gone for what, 2-3 months, and then just gets a world title shot. So I know what Drew McIntyre is talking about, because it's not fair. But there was a stipulation added here that if Priest loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day, and if Rollins loses, he can't challenge for the championship as long as Priest is champion. Now, when you hear that stipulation, the can't challenge as long as someone is champion, I think the result is very, very obvious, and that's Seth is losing. I'm sorry, Seth is losing this match. He can't just pull a Charlotte Flair, come back and get a title shot and act like everything's okay. Priest has been putting in some really good work, and I do not want him to be a transitional champion. Yes, his ego is starting to get out of the hand, thinking he's bigger than the group, but the group also needs him, and they're on some BS with Liv Morgan. Now, mind you, I thought the Liv Zelina match was going to be on this card, and I think it should be on this card, because I think Bayley should be defending on this card. Hell, I think the women's tag team title should be on this card. The WWE tag team championships are being defended on SmackDown, not on this card. I digress. Let's get back to the match. Priest has been good, and after that scare at Clash of the Castle with the ropes, they got to make up for that. He was able to gut through it, but I don't see him leaving the Judgment Day because of this stipulation. No. It's going to get a lot worse to force him to leave the Judgment Day. And just like how I think this past Sunday at Forbidden Door, Swerve defeating Will Ospreay solidified his championship reign, same's got to happen here with Priest. Priest is going to beat Seth Rollins and win the match. He's going to be in the Judgment Day, and Seth can go do something else before he inevitably gets another championship match. Because if Seth doesn't win here, I don't know who's going to beat Priest. And we're still inevitably waiting for Rhea Ripley to come back. And the Judgment Day split, I believe, is going to be the reason that Damien Priest loses the championship. But then we move on to our 6-man tag match, as the team of Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens will be taking on the Bloodline, and it will be any 3 members of the Bloodline. So that's Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. Now, here's the thing. I feel like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa have to be in this match, right? They're the tag team, and we actually haven't seen Tonga Loa wrestle yet. I'm almost sure he has. I think he's maybe wrestled one tag match, so we've got to get eyes on him. So now that leaves either Jacob Fatu or Solo Sikoa. I don't think Solo's wrestling. After how you debuted Jacob Fatu, he has to wrestle in this match. Period. Jacob Fatu has to wrestle in this match. And if Jacob Fatu is wrestling in this match, the Bloodline aren't losing. If Sikoa is wrestling this match, the Bloodline are losing. Does that make sense? Because you have to make Jacob Fatu look dominant. He's got to be dominant. And you're in the ring with a team of the current world champion and 2 former world champions. And getting a win over those 3 guys will make the Bloodline look dangerous. And I think there should be a stipulation in this match, even though it's a 6-man tag. Like, make this a 6-man tornado tag, no DQ. I think a normal tag team match doesn't work here. You feel me? Like, remember when Randy Orton and Triple H had that blood feud leading up to the WrestleMania main event, and then they just had a normal one-on-one match? Yeah, that doesn't work. That didn't work there. It doesn't work here. All right. So I'm going to say Jacob Fatu wrestles, and I believe the Bloodline will win the match. Then we move on to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and we have 6 competitors. We have Io Sky, last year's winner, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoey Stark. And that's a nice field we got there. So we always start with who for sure isn't winning, right? Naomi's not winning. Sorry to say this, Zoey Stark isn't winning. So it's coming down to Io, Chelsea, Lyra, and Tiffany. And I think, like a lot of people, the odds-on favorite is Tiffany Stratton. Now, here's the thing, right? Lyra has been getting a very good push. She's been, mentored by Becky Lynch. She's got some good W's, was in the Queen of the Ring final, but came up short. Chelsea Green is just the wild card. She just is. Imagine Chelsea Green with the briefcase. Let that sink in. And with Piper backing her, you could safely say you could guarantee a victory for Chelsea Green. Remember, every single woman that's won the briefcase has successfully cashed in. But it would make sense for Chelsea to be the first woman to cash in and fail, right? Io is another safe bet. She's in this match because out of every single woman in this group, she's the veteran. Even though Naomi is a veteran, Io is the better veteran. Io can kind of keep things along. And that's not to throw shade at Naomi, it's just Io's a better wrestler. Zoey Stark is fantastic here, and so is Lyra. So we've got a good grouping of women that can keep the match going. But Tiffany Stratton winning makes sense with the exception of this. She's been partnered up with Nia Jax. Nia Jax won Queen of the Ring and gets a women's championship match at SummerSlam. So, with Bayley as champion right now, you have to put the money on a heel winning if it's from SmackDown. So it's either Chelsea or Tiffany. And with Liv being the champion on Raw, that's a toss-up. Because is she good? Is she bad? And if you say she's bad, then you've got to put the safe money on Lyra. But something about Io just is there. And it's making me think that Io could possibly win this match and cash in that night. Well, not that night because Bayley doesn't have a match. But I'm going to go with the safe bet, and I'm going to put the smart money on Tiffany Stratton to win. And now you have Tiffany and you have Nia with pretty much guaranteed championship matches. How will that play out for not only their budding friendship, but Bayley, who's been a fighting champion. So I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And on the men's side of things, we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and it consists of Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. Okay, so here's the thing. Chad Gable's not winning. Uncle Howdy and the YS6 are going to be heavily involved with this, so that cancels him out. Everybody else is fair game. For real. Jey Uso is a top star now. That cannot be denied. And him yeeting all over the country with the briefcase is just good stuff. Melo is the up-and-comer, and there are times where we give the briefcase to an up-and-comer to see how they do as world champion. We did it with Jack Swagger. We did it with CM Punk. Even though CM Punk was an up-and-comer, he was an up-and-comer in WWE. So you can't rule out Melo. Same thing with Andrade. Something isn't clicking since his return, and I get why he returned, but something hasn't been working, and he's in this match to do some wild stuff. And I don't want to discredit him, but the more I think about it, the more I believe that he's not winning either. So then it boils down to Uso, Melo, Knight, and Drew McIntyre, right? If I think about it, right, this is hard. This is very, very hard, because here's the thing. LA Knight has to win a big match. I don't think it's going to be the briefcase. I think we'll get the inevitable LA Knight Logan Paul feud. So if I think the YS6 are going to screw Gable, I think Logan Paul is going to screw LA Knight, setting up their inevitable SummerSlam match. So no Andrade, no Gable, no Knight. We're down to Melo, Jay, and Drew. Even though I would love to see Melo win, he might not be there yet. He still needs it needs like a top feud, something to solidify himself. So now it just comes down to Jay and Drew. Drew is the outlier. Why? Because I truly think he's probably going to win, right? But there's that devil, there's CM Punk, right? I could see one of two things happening. Drew successfully wins, nothing happens, and he cashes in on Damien Preist later that night. Because I think the world title match is going to be after the men's Money in the Bank match, right? I actually think both world title matches are going to be after the men's Money in the Bank match, but I don't see Cody losing. Damien Priest is a bigger threat to lose his title that night. Or CM Punk gets involved and costs Drew. And if that happens, then I think the briefcase goes to Jay. But in my heart of hearts, head of heads, I think Drew McIntyre is winning this match. And I think this match is going to be absolutely fantastic. Drew's the powerhouse here. And you've got your Flyers and Melo and Andrade and Jay. This is going to be a really, really good match. And I'm intrigued and curious about the potential winners here. But one more time, let's go over our card one more time. I think Sami Zayn defeats Bron Breakker, retaining the Intercontinental Championship. I think Damien Priest defeats Seth Rollins, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. I believe the Bloodline with Jacob Fatu defeats Cody, Randy, and KO. I think Tiffany Stratton wins the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And I think Drew McIntyre not only wins the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, but also cashes in. And I know that's kind of hard to believe and kind of hard to fathom, but I think it goes down like that. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen, coming up this week. Let's see what we got for you. We got a Let's Talk About It coming up. I'll figure when I get that up. We got a couple lists coming up. The top tag teams of the year so far, the top factions of the year so far. We got a flashback Friday. I know I didn't put that on the schedule, but it's coming up. We got that for sure. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going down. Then next week's episode of the High Wrestling Podcast will be the downside of the WWE draft. We're going to really dive into this thing. But that is our show. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. I'll see you when I see you. And of course, Anna J, Chris Statlander, Bailey, Willow Nightingale, Isla Dawn, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.